My name is Opio Wandai.
My name is Aaron Cheruiyot.
Yes.
Hassan Omar.
Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah just stepped out briefly, coming back. Proceed.
Yes. I am.
Yes.
I am here in the capacity of Secretary General of the ICT Association of Kenya. Having received your request to come and make some oral submissions on the issues that are currently at deliberation by this honorable committee.
Let me guide you.
Yes.
In the interest of time. Because I'm told we have got your memorandum. We have it with us. I'm advised. Is it true? Imogen, do you have the memorandum? All the same, what you need to do is to simply summarize your issues in under 10 minutes. Then if there are any clarifications, you shall seek from himself.
Very well, Chair.
The rest shall deal with an informal memorandum.
Very well. So for purposes of greater relevance, I think I will first focus on the first issue, which relates to electoral justice and related matters, more to do with the restructuring of the IBC, the boundary delimitation, and the audit of the 2022 presidential election. With regard to the restructuring of the IBC, our position would be that there is nothing much in terms of restructuring that should happen, because as currently contextualized in the Constitution, we believe it is proper in form. Now, the issue of the appointment of commissioners, there is in existence the selection panel, which is supposed to carry out that task of determining who becomes a commissioner. And in our very humble view, it is a very inclusive process, because it is done by persons appointed by entities across the country. We have Parliament duly represented with their representatives, the Inter-Religious Council, the Public Service Commission, the Law Society of Kenya. And for purposes of getting a professional entity, we do believe that such approach would be more favorable as compared to a situation where we go the political party's way, which then would increase the degree of vested interest and horse trading, which would even take longer in terms of realizing that objective. The boundary delimitation, our current appreciation of the Constitution is that the only boundaries that can change are those boundaries of wards. Because as per the Constitution, the number of constituencies is prescribed. It cannot be altered. So what cannot be altered are the names and boundaries of the constituencies. But there can be a variation in the number of wards. So we do submit that at the proper order of time, we can have the boundaries realigned. And the upshot of this is that there is no constituency that under whatever circumstances can be lost in the event of any delimitation. The constituency number will remain. What can only vary is the boundaries, unless through this committee there is made a proposal either to increase or decrease the number of constituencies. But as things stand, we cannot lose any constituency, even those ones that are perceived to be lower in terms of their population, because the Constitution protects constituencies and only leaves the legroom to variation of the number of wards. The audit of the 2022 general election is important. The reason why audit is usually carried out is not because you don't trust that things have been done properly. It's because you want to assure yourself of that reality. And indeed, it's our view that every time prior to elections, we should have the systems audited prior to the election. And then subsequently, we can do another audit just to confirm. And it is proper to put in context the place of systems within the election process. Of course, the final results that determine the person who wins the presidential elections are those declared at the polling station. So the system is basically there as a way of creating some form of assurance that whatever is happening in the polling station is what ultimately is reported. So if we are going to do an audit of the 2022 presidential election, we cannot just rely on the systems, but we must benchmark that alongside the declaration forms that are in the ballot boxes. So if we are going to audit the presidential elections, we don't just audit the servers, we audit the ballot boxes, because that is where the final results are contained. For better conduct of and use of technology, we would propose that we try and grow a local ICT system, because majorly the system we have is the one used for transmission, electronic vote transmission. We do not have a digital election per se. Everything relating to election is conducted in fairly a manual approach. We vote manually, we cast a ballot manually. So the only point where technology comes is where we have to do the vote transmission. And it's a system that we can grow. And our proposal would be that we have a team under the aegis of the Political Parties Liaison Committee that can come up with a system that political parties themselves will audit prior to the election and see how the movement of figures progresses from the polling station up to the tallying center. Because the main issue that there is not a system issue, it is a trust issue. You have a good system.
Mr. Kamoto, you are doing well, but you have got only 2 minutes remaining.
Thank you, Chair. I will endeavor to remain within the time. So the aspect that must be given consideration is how we can grow our own system, have it audited or make it auditable prior and after the election. Otherwise, the issue that we seem to be confronting with regard to the audit is a question of trust. I will focus now on the other issue, which is fidelity to political parties and coalitions. Now, the whole aim of regulating the political party space is at least to ensure discipline. However, we must recall that there is a right to make political choices which must never be muzzled. That is to say, if today I am elected based on a ticket of Party A, and then in the course of time, I encounter a Damascus movement and realize that I joined the vehicle to the wrong destination, then I should not be prevented absolutely from decamping. It should be possible for me, once I realize that I'm heading to the wrong destination, I should be allowed to alight conveniently and then reroute again and get where I belong, because political choices are dynamic. So what might be a choice today, and a good ideology in this case would be the arena of marriage. If you get into an arrangement with a partner And then you realize at some point that there are irreconcilable differences. Then should we keep you in that house up to the point where you suffer domestic violence? I would take the negative position with regard to that reality. So members should be given the liberty to change their party choices whenever they so wish. Then in terms of entrenchment of the national...
Now I'll stop you.
Yes.
Yes, because since you have got written submission, just make a closing remark. We shall deal with the rest of the material in my written submissions.
Very well, Chair. Allow me to make the closing remark in the...
Waiting behind.
Yes.
Yes.
Allow me to make the closing remark by addressing this issue of the Constituency Development Fund. I believe this is an issue that can be attended to without the necessity of a referendum, because it doesn't affect the function of Parliament. It only touches on developmental issues, and the fact that the parliamentarians are not per se the ones who run the National Constituency Development Fund, then it means it's possible for us to change the constitution without having to go the referendum way, because what would require a referendum is if we were to change the functions.
You made the point. The cabinet is alive to the provisions of 255, 256, 257. The point is quite clear that we support the fund to be entrenched. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Advise that the members of the committee have got no questions, and therefore on that note we shall excuse you. And thank you very much for a very, very precise and concise presentation, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. For sorry me.
Yeah.
That
Can we have the COG come forward, please?
COG.
And we apologize for keeping you waiting. We know you are very busy people,
Especially
with enormous responsibilities,
this one from
with a heavy load on your shoulders.
From all the way from Bungoma. At least huyu mmoja alikuja hapa kutoka Makwiny, came walking.
I can see all the way from Mulam. You know,